A lot of you seem to be worried about Charmander in the background saying he needs to be freed. But don't worry, he is safe and well fed on a diet of dank memes and cringe compilations. What is up, everyone, and welcome to another Munch Top 10. This is a 2. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl are just over a month away from release now, and even though I've done about 50 million videos on these games already, today we've got possibly the most important one of them all, as I'm going to be covering my top 10 Sinnoh Pokemon. Originally released in 2006, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl were the first main series games on the Nintendo DS, and the Sinnoh region where they take place was the last region to this day inspired by Japan. I believe this is why so many Pokemon from past generations, and especially ones from Johto, received new evolutions and baby forms in Sinnoh, which have now become some of the most memorable creatures in the whole series. I mean, can you imagine a world without Mamoswine or Yanmega, Honchkrow, and Gliscor? Man, I could make a top 10 of just evolutions that debuted in Sinnoh. Between these and the whole roster of brand new Pokemon, it was hard to pick just 10 to represent the 4th gen, but I've tried my best to pick the mons that were most iconic to Sinnoh and remain in players' minds to this day. So hopefully you guys enjoy this list, and if you're excited, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't already for more Pokemon videos, because we're jumping right into it with number 10. Kicking off this list is quite an unusual pick you might think is just here due to cuteness. But did you know Pachirisu was once a world champion? In 2014, real-life trainer Sejin Park of Korea competed at the Pokemon Video Game World Championships, and in the final round, when it was all on the line, he decided to bring the most unlikely Pokemon out onto the battlefield. Pachirisu rose to superstardom after tanking hits from behemoths like Tyranitar and Salamence, helping Sejin claim the first place trophy. Before this moment, I feel Pachirisu was often shrugged off as just another Pikachu clone with nothing really unique about it compared to later electric rodents. But now everywhere I see Pachirisu mentioned, it's being celebrated for this glorious moment. Heck, even I decided to use one in a recent replay of Pokemon Platinum, and even though it wasn't quite as useful as it seemed to be in the World Championship, I still love seeing that cute face on the Poketch, reminding me that strength isn't everything that matters in Pokemon. Number 9. Out of all the familiar faces who got new evolutions in Sinnoh, Togepi was the last one I expected to evolve again, but it was much needed, as previously Togetic could only rely on a lucky metronome to defend itself, which is no joke if you get a good move with metronome, but most of the time you get splash, in which case Togepi's dead. Now with a proper final form, Togekiss can definitely hold its own with its Serene Grace ability and Air Slash. I remember making a lot of kids rage quit Wi-Fi battles because they just kept getting flinched by Air Slash. Togekiss was also one of the few Pokemon capable of learning Aura Sphere, which came in pretty handy against rock types that would normally threaten it. It even made it onto the champion Cynthia's team, which is clearly a sign of greatness, and with an awesome design to back it up, Togekiss quickly became one of my favorite Sinnoh Pokemon. You could argue it got even better in Gen 6 when it became a fairy type, which made it able to deal with those nasty dragons and brought the magic of flinch hacks to a whole new slew of players. Number 8. Did you know Munchlax was actually the first ever Sinnoh Pokemon to be revealed? Back in July of 2004, 2 years before Diamond and Pearl came out, the baby form of Snorlax appeared in the movie Destiny Deoxys. It also made an appearance in the Ruby and Sapphire anime, where May actually caught one after it swallowed her Pokeball. Which begs the question, what was Munchlax doing in Hoenn? Doesn't matter, okay? What matters is I didn't just include this guy on the list because it has Munch in its name, but because of how much of a glutton it is, able to swallow whole just about anything that looks edible. Now that's relatable. Perhaps the weirdest thing about Munchlax though is how rare it is to find in the wild. If you didn't know, Diamond and Pearl introduced a new mechanic for encountering Pokemon called honey trees, where you could slather honey onto the trunk of certain trees and 6 hours later Pokemon would come eat it. There are 21 honey trees in Sinnoh, of which only 4 can possibly attract Munchlax, and these 4 trees are determined by your trainer and secret ID, meaning it's completely different in each save file. Now, even if you happen to be a rocket scientist and crack the code to figure out which trees happen to have Munchlax in your game, there's still only a 1% chance of actually encountering it. Now that is some boy, oh boy, I love Munchlax. Number 7. So far we've had one Pokemon native to Sinnoh, one evolution of an old classic, and the baby form of an even bigger classic, which means it's time for a legendary. Wait, what do you mean Rotom isn't legendary? Clearly, you haven't seen my last video. Tucked away in the old chateau is a creepy, staticky TV, which houses the one and only Rotom. Or at least it used to be the one and only, as nowadays Rotom seem to be mass-produced and shoved into bikes, phones, video games, heck, I wouldn't be surprised if next gen we get Rotom shoes. They turn you invisible. Although I love the concept of Rotom as a ghost that can possess electronics, I cannot stand the Rotom decks in Pokemon Sun and Moon. But I have to admit, the fact they're still using Rotom in each new generation is a testament to how genius the original idea of it is. I'm not sure if they always planned it, since Rotom forms weren't introduced until Platinum and only made better in Gen 5 when they each got different types, but like I said, Rotom seems to be here to stay, with more forms likely coming our way, making it one of the best Sinnoh Pokemon. Number 6. Earlier I mentioned how Sinnoh introduced many new evolutions for previous generations Pokemon, but it's time to talk about my favorite of them all, Weevil. Seeing as Sneasel is hands down my favorite Johto Pokemon, this should come as no surprise, but it's not just personal tastes that make this sneaky weasel great. Bringing it back to the Gen 4 Wi-Fi battles, Weevil was a menace thanks to its high speed and solid move options. It may freeze up in the face of fighting types, but could sweep through almost any other Pokemon, especially Garchomp. This made Weevil an excellent choice against Cynthia in playthroughs of Diamond and Pearl, and it must have been quite popular considering it made the original roster of Pokken Tournament. Or maybe the creator of that game was as big of a fan of it as I am. But I do want to give an honorable mention to Weevil's counterpart Gliscor, who was also quite dangerous in competitive play with its bulky defenses and unique type combination. Even though Weevil could mess it up 90% of the time with its Ice Shard, Gliscor is another serious contender for best Sinnoh evolution, considering how much it improved on its previous form Gligar. It's funny how both of my favorites happen to evolve by holding an item with Razor in their name and leveling up at nighttime. Number 5. We're in the big leagues now, the top 5, and kicking things off is my favorite Sinnoh legendary, Giratina, Lord of the Distortion World, which is basically Pokemon's version of hell, right? Wouldn't that make Giratina the devil? I mean, it was banished to another dimension for being too violent by the god of Pokemon itself. Definitely sounds like a fallen angel to me. To match its devilish origin story, Giratina also has one of the creepiest designs of any legendary, and becomes even scarier in its origin form, where it loses its legs to become a 6-winged flying snake instead. Just the description alone is terrifying. I was petrified my first time going through the Distortion World and froze up every time Giratina would swoop by with that chilling cry. Like that one time a bat was chasing me down when I was a kid, down the neighborhood at night. Good times. As much as I love Lil Dreepy being launched out like missiles by their mothers, I wouldn't say Dragapult really screams ghost type, so I gotta respect the original Ghost Dragon for embracing its spectral side and disturbing many kids like myself with its terrifying gaze. Number 4. Legends say you simply cannot have a Sinnoh top 10 without Lucario. The original master of the Aura Sphere rose to fame after starring in the 8th Pokemon movie known as Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, which came out over a year before the release of Diamond and Pearl. Lucario instantly became a fan favorite, partly because it could talk in the movie using telepathy, which had previously only been done by psychic Pokemon like Mewtwo. This led some people to believe that Lucario was actually a legendary, as previous movies featured legendary Pokemon's name in the title and on the cover, but when Sinnoh finally rolled around, we learned that although it's very powerful, Lucario was just a regular Pokemon with an adorable pre-evolution called Riolu. It still felt pretty special since you could only obtain Lucario via the egg gifted to you by Riley, who seems to bear a striking resemblance to Sir Aaron, the Aura Guardian from the movie. I wonder if Pokemon's ever addressed that connection. Anyway, its awesome type combination of fighting and steel type and signature Aura Sphere looking like a Kamehameha made Lucario feel more like a Dragon Ball Z fighter than Pokemon, which could have led to its inclusion in Super Smash Bros. Brawl a few years later. Lucario was also one of the first Pokemon revealed to Mega Evolve in X and Y, cementing its status as probably the most iconic Sinnoh Pokemon, and overall one of the most memorable of all time. Number 3. The toughest decision in every Pokemon game. Which starter do I pick? We all struggle with it every time a new journey begins, but not this time, baby. I'm standing Infernape all the way. Some of you may remember Monferno was my favorite Pokemon in an old top 10, and though I'm not sure I can still claim that, it is for sure my favorite Sinnoh starter. Yeah, penguins are cool, and I like turtles as much as that zombie kid. But monkeys have always been my favorite animal on the planet, and Goku has always been my favorite anime guy. You're probably wondering why I brought Goku into the mix all of a sudden, but that's because both Goku and Infernape are based on the Chinese myth of Sun Wukong, the Monkey King, who also happens to be one of my favorite League of Legends characters, so really it's a no-brainer why I picked it over the other starters. But if you happen to like Piplup more cause it's so dang cute, or the other one cause it eats grass, just admit that deep in your hearts you know Infernape is better. The only negative thing I can really say about the monkey is it established the trend of fire and fighting type starters, but it wasn't until Emboar that people caught on and started getting angry. And technically Blaziken was first, but Infernape made it a thing, so regardless, I think Infernape is the strongest of the firefighters, barring Mega Evolution, with its pulverizing close combat and mixed attacking stats, giving it the option to use physical or special moves equally. Finally, there's the story of Ash's Chimchar in the anime, who you might remember was abandoned by that abusive asshole Paul. But under Ash's care, it eventually grew past that trauma and incinerated its original master in the Pokemon League. Always brings a tear to my eye. Number 2. You all knew it was coming. Garchomp is hands down the strongest non-legendary Pokemon from Sinnoh. Some players still have nightmares of facing Cynthia just because of this Pokemon being able to one-shot most of your team with its Earthquake and Dragon Rush moves. This Garchomp and Cynthia pairing has become so iconic that it's almost weird seeing one without the other. Unless of course you've caught your own, but good luck finding one. Though not quite as obscure as Munchlax, Gible is pretty elusive in Diamond and Pearl, being hidden in a secret cave underneath Cycling Road that I have no idea how the frick anyone was supposed to find without a guide. Thankfully we have the internet now, so anyone can get their hands on what I consider to be the strongest dragon type. Like Lucario, Garchomp is no stranger to the spotlight, being the second most popular Sinnoh creature according to Google's Pokemon of the Year poll, and thus has been featured in tons of merchandise and spin-off titles like Pokken Tournament. It even has the most menacing looking Mega Evolution, boosting its already insane attack stat further beyond. Is that Goku or is that my hero? Plus Ultra. But as I mentioned, it was only the second most popular Pokemon in Sinnoh, which is why it's second on this list. That's not really why. You're gonna find out why right now. Number 1! Now we've covered the strongest and most popular Pokemon of the Sinnoh region, so who could possibly be number 1? Could it be the Pokegod itself? Why yes. Yes it is. The Pokegod, known as Bidoof. I can't even say that seriously. No Sinnoh playthrough is complete without the normal type Beaver able to master every HM in the game besides Fly. Though I'm pretty sure if it put its mind to it, Bidoof could probably fly too. Or, well, maybe Barrel, because technically the evolution is the one that can learn all the HMs, but it runs in the family. Whatever, dude. Anything you need, Bidoof got you. Is there a tree blocking your way to take down an evil organization's hideaway? Bidoof got you. Are there pesky rocks preventing you from getting that shiny item you always wanted? Bidoof got you. Wife got tired of broken promises leading to an affair with the bodybuilding next door neighbor? That's a yikes from me, dude. But Bidoof's got you. In fact, he's a licensed therapist. Considering how many times you need HMs to proceed in these games, I guarantee almost everybody has had a Bidoof at some point on their team, making it the most used Sinnoh Pokemon. I don't like the sound of that though. Like, I don't think anyone wants to feel used. So why don't we just call Bidoof the best Sinnoh Pokemon, which is the title of this video. And if you don't believe in the truth of Bidoof, just listen to this. Man got his own international celebration. Like, do you need any more proof that Bidoof is the best Sinnoh Pokemon? Thank you all so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button and check out my top 10 Kanto Pokemon I did a couple months ago. I know Kanto is not quite as relevant as Sinnoh is right now, but it's a pretty good video. You should go watch and stay tuned for my playthrough of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pearl coming as soon as the games drop. Of course, I'll be doing the full Let's Play, so you better watch it. Bidoof is love. Bidoof is life.
Always been a friend, Bidoof. On it you depend, Bidoof. Bidoof's gonna stand its ground.